Breakfast is one of the most important meals of the day. Is this a right saying? Absolutely not. Every meal of your day is important, but today what we are going to discuss is how you can get your breakfast right because it is the meal that you eat after a long hours of fasting, and that is why it's called break fast, because you have slept for long hours, and then the gap between your bedtime and the first meal is long enough for you to have a meal that is nutritious and you get it right so that your blood sugar spikes are in control and you're not actually jumping on food directly. You get energized in the beginning of the day itself and you get some great results with respect to your health. So getting your breakfast right is something that we are going to discuss in today's video, or if you are listening to this today's podcast. Hello everyone, welcome to 90 Days Ultimate Health Guide Project, where we focus on empowering knowledge, planning, and execution. This is ultimate 90 days journey where you learn how to work on yourself in detailed aspects of your body and transform. If you need any detailed personalized attention with respect to your body, your health condition, and want amazing workouts and nutrition planning, then you can join my 90 days challenge along with this ultimate project guide that we share on YouTube, because it makes your experience better to transform and change your life today. So yes, it's important for all of us to understand that getting our breakfast right is important. Why? Because again, if you are sleeping for 8 hours and then you just break onto a meal because you don't know that high carbohydrate or food that is high in glycemic index is directly spiking your blood sugar levels up, and you're not providing any shield in form of protein or fiber to it, long term you will be seeing some effects on your health with respect to type 2 diabetes, your pancreas not functioning that well, and insulin resistance that is very, very common. So, yes, make sure that you understand the importance of getting your breakfast right. Now, there is a very important thing that we need to address here, that mostly people don't have time to prepare breakfast. We all run on a very hectic schedule. So there are two separate things that we are going to discuss. One, what should be your ideal breakfast? And second, how to reach to that ideal breakfast, whether you do have time or you don't have time. Even when you run on your hectic schedules, how you can manage to achieve that balance. And if not ideal, what would be the best thing you can do to make your breakfast right and get better with your health. I'm also going to give you some good options that you can have as a part of your breakfast by the end of the video, so that you understand how you can make your regular meals more balanced and get it right as much as in order to get better with your health, not develop these kind of common issues. Because what we focus on is eradicating the root cause, and that comes with not understanding your cells and what they're trying to say. Mostly people don't understand that what your cells are trying to communicate. We run on hectic schedule, we don't give meals that importance, right? But that's why I'm making this series, because I want to make sure that you take small steps every day. Like we're just talking about breakfast today, right? But it's very important, because one small change every day can make big differences. And probably after 90 days, you'll be learning 90 new things, right? And with today, what we're going to discuss is about breakfast, but is applicable to variety of your days and your meals. And knowing more about it will help you gather a deep understanding, so that even after 90 days, you don't need anything else, just the basic understanding of how to get it right, right? So yes, beginning with why you actually need a good breakfast is, as I mentioned, if you don't focus on what you're eating at the beginning of your day after long hours of fasting, whether you are doing intermittent fasting or not, it's important for us to have right meals and not have too much of carbohydrate loaded in it. Otherwise, you will have a lot of blood sugar spikes, and with time, you might develop some insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes. People with bad thyroid health also can be affected by this. So yes, try and avoid that. And that is why we characterize our breakfast into three important parts. And that what we am talking about today is the ideal breakfast, okay? So the ideal breakfast should be divided into three parts. One is the pre-breakfast, then the main meal, and the post breakfast. Pre breakfast is when you start your day. And when I'm talking about breakfast, I am including people with intermittent fasting also. For intermittent fasting, whether you're doing for 12 hours, 14 hours, or 16 hours, the first meal of your day is what we are discussing today. So, yes, pre breakfast is what I call as a shield time, when you just shield your meals, your high carbohydrates, not letting your blood sugar rise high and high just because you are consuming good amounts of fat at this pre breakfast time. And that is probably will act as a shield to your blood sugar spikes. This can be nuts, avocado, coconut chunks, coconut malai, oils, coconut oil with black coffee. All of this will give you energy, will ensure that you start your meals right, your digestion begins correctly, and then you can jump onto your main meal. That will be a combination of your protein, fiber, carbohydrate, and everything. So, yes, this will act as a shield to it. The gap between the pre breakfast and your real breakfast can be around 15 minutes. Now, again, what I'm mentioning here today is just a little ideal breakfast. That is when you have time. I will give you an alternate when you don't have time and when you run on a hectic schedule on how you can actually manage it. But yes, ideally, you should start your pre breakfast, take it slow, and have a 15 minutes gap between your pre breakfast and your main breakfast time. Now, with the main breakfast, what I'm talking about is having a high protein meal. Again, why high protein? Because you have fasted for long hours. Again, if you jump onto a high carbohydrate meal at this time, you will have high blood sugar spikes. That is something that we don't want. It doesn't matter, like 1 to 3 times if you have high blood sugar spike, that is not a problem. The point is, when you do it in a longer run, it is not that healthy because you're using your pancreas too much, making them older very soon. Why you want to do that? You don't want to develop type 2 diabetes, which is quite common nowadays. So yes, you have to make sure that you have good amount of protein with fiber. Now, when I say good amount of protein, you not be thinking, oh, what should I eat? I'm a vegetarian. I'll be giving you a good option. So including anything that has protein with some fiber that comes from fruit or whole grains is a good breakfast and a good meal to have. Anything between 300 to 400 calories, depending on your BMR and on your requirement and your portion size, is something that you can consume. But I really want you to have at least 300 to 400 calories that will make you feel energized, make you feel full, so that you're energetic enough to start your day right. This is very important. Your main meal, eating it very slow, enjoying it to the tea, taking at least 30 to 40 minutes to finish it is very crucial, so that you exactly know when to stop. You're guiding yourself in the right direction, plays a very crucial role in any of your meals. This is just a generalized statement that I will be doing in all of your getting your lunch right, dinner right, breakfast right. Make sure that you take that time. And after 15 minutes, when you're done with your main meal, we go on to the post breakfast thing. And then that is the time when you can have your tea, coffee, anything that is related to having a caffeine in your day. Now, when you have caffeine, I don't recommend having too much of caffeine, because obviously too much of caffeine has its own effects and might not be that good for you. But if you are you cannot live without your tea, you cannot live without your coffee, then make sure that you have whatever is your cup size, make sure you have it half of it, and have more of tea and coffee in it rather than having milk and sugar. Have limited sugar, have limited milk. No difference between brown sugar, jaggery, or the white sugar. They're all same. So use whatever you want, just limit its intake and limit the quantity of tea that you're consuming. If you have been consuming 1 cup, try and consume half of it. That will help you slowly reduce the dependence that you have on caffeine to stay energized. So you can only do it slow and steadily. You cannot just jump on it by restricting yourself. You'll be craving more of it. So avoid that. So yes, so this is how we divide our breakfast into 3 important parts: pre-breakfast, then the main meal, and the post-breakfast. This is how ideally you do. Now, when you run on hectic schedules, what can be done? When you run on hectic schedule, the only thing that's important is you have to prep and plan your day well in advance. If you are well planned, none of your schedules can hamper your breakfast. You have to plan one day before. So, for example, tomorrow I'm going to have a sandwich as my main meal. So, I know that I need to have protein as well. So, I will gather my paneer or my tofu or my eggs the night before, and I'll have my bread, I'll have my vegetables sorted the night before. And tomorrow I have to just get up, have my nuts, get ready. I'll have my nuts before I get ready. I'll have my nuts, my everything like coconut oil, avocado, whatever, what I'm consuming as my pre breakfast. And after that, I get ready. And once I'm done, either I pack my breakfast or I have it there in whatever time that is available. I just take the slices of the bread, I add the vegetable, I add the source of protein, a little bit of spices, and then I am done. This is how you make sure that you have a balanced meal, and also you're taking care of your nutrition with the hectic schedules that you have. And after that, once you reach your office, your schools, or whatever, you can have your tea and coffee. This is how you can finish your breakfast time. You need not to do everything together. But ideally, what I'm trying to say is that if you focus on gathering your nutrients, and if you know that I need to have at least one protein source in my breakfast, at least one protein thing in my breakfast, I have to like soak some sprouts so that I can just quickly have it in morning. I have to soak some lentils for me so that I can quickly cook for me in morning. Then this can be the best possible thing, so that you can manage your hectic schedule with getting your breakfast right as well. So yes, this is how you can do it on a hectic schedule, planning way ahead and adding variety to your meals. Now, when I say adding variety, example, one day I'm having sprouts, other day I'm having tofu, other day I'm having sandwiches, next day probably I'll be having apple and yogurt. One day I'll be having quinoa or millet upma. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to add variety so that I'm excited about my breakfast every day, and that is very important. Mostly people are not even excited about waking up because, oh, why diet food I have to eat and I don't have to, think much about it. Why boring khana. No, health means variety. Health means gathering your nutrients from variety of sources so that you can enjoy it, make it a part of your lifestyle, and you are excited about your breakfast every day. That is what I have been doing. I've been doing intermittent fasting since I don't know how many years now, probably more than 5 years, but I'm very excited about the first meal of my day because I always plan my week in advance. I know that I have this 7 days ka time. I have these meals and I have to prepare it well, prepare well in advance about all the ingredients that I need to get, and everything I plan well before, so that during the week I can enjoy the variety, balance my macronutrients. I'm excited every day about the meals that I'm going to consume. So variety is very, very important, very, very crucial. If you are someone who is not even like, excited about cooking and everything, you can still planning it well in advance, give it to your cook or get it. You need not to make things tough, you have to make things easier. And even if you are not able to cook, just the most simplest breakfast that you can get for yourself is fruit and a Greek yogurt. Okay, I know like some of you might be like, Greek yogurt is too expensive. You can just hung your curd, get the way, make the Greek yogurt for yourself at home, add it to your fruits, and then enjoy. That is the simplest thing that you can do. Gather some fruit, either one banana, one apple, add Greek yogurt to it, and then enjoy it. You are getting enough fiber from the fruit and the protein from the yogurt, and that is it. That is something that the easiest breakfast option that I can tell you, but for sure is one of the most balanced way. Also, if you top it with some seeds, you are getting the most balanced breakfast out there. So make sure that you just have these basic ingredients available at your step, so that whenever you want to have things planned well in advance, you will always be able to get your breakfast right. So yes, this is very, very crucial. But once you start doing it, you will not feel that you're doing or putting any effort to it. Food and the relationship that you have with your food is crucial. It's relationship that is very similar to that you have with your partner. if you have a very strong relationship, if you communicate well with yourself, what you exactly need, why you need it, you give some time, take a little bit of effort, things become smoother with time. The only thing that you have to manage is plan things well in advance. If you start doing that, you will be like, everything goes smooth with over time. First 2 weeks it be like कि बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ रही है, चीजें प्लान करनी पड़ी है, मैनेज करना पड़ रहा है, बट आफ्टर 2 weeks it will be very smooth, easy. You'll be like, okay, this is protein, this is my carbohydrate source for the breakfast today, this is what I'm going to consume tomorrow, this is something that I have to soak. And you will be reminded by yourself, because body has adaptability feature. So we adapt to things very quickly. We have that thing in our mind that this is a habit that I have to soak these chia seeds every night for tomorrow or day after tomorrow. This will help you develop those habits. Setting a good bedtime routine is always very crucial to have a good morning routine. And getting your breakfast right again comes with planning your bedtime nicely. So yes, make sure that you plan that well and avoid having sugary foods in your breakfast. This is a caution that everybody should have, because you have been fasted for so long. You begin with added sugar, because mostly when we go in any 5-star or anywhere for a breakfast option, they have croissant, baked goods, lot of pastries and everything. I always have that issue. I really like it. It's very tempting. However, that is not that healthy, because when you are consuming sugar as the first thing in the morning, it will directly spike up your blood sugar levels, and that is what you need to be taken care of. Avoid that situation. Go for more savory breakfast, and even if you want to go for say sweet breakfast, go for fruits, and just reduce the fruit load with yogurts, or with blend it into a smoothie, add some almond milk to it, add a good protein source in terms with along with the Greek yogurt. So that will actually help. So yes, make sure that you have good amount of time planning things well in advance, and limit the intake of added sugar in your breakfast. This is important. This will help you get best results when it comes to your health. As I mentioned before as well, that 300 to 400 calories in your breakfast, most of them coming from protein source, will help you manage your weight, will help you reduce your body fat percentage as well, help you not get insulin sensitivity, with PCOS symptoms, with diabetes symptoms, with thyroid health. Everything you can get better with only understanding the simple thing is getting your breakfast right. So yes, this is all about the theory part. Now coming to the execution part, I'll be giving you some 7 days breakfast options, and mostly it will be plant-based and vegetarian options, but you can definitely go with eggs. You can definitely go with grilled chicken and everything like that as well if you're a non-vegetarian. But for me, I will be giving you some vegetarian and plant-based options. So yes, let's move on to that section. The first option is the tofu scramble. It's very simple to make. Just get the tofu, scramble it, saute some onions, add some salt, some spices. So quick to make, so easy to make. It's very, very enjoyable, and at the very same time, very easy and super 5-minute breakfast kind of an option. Get a lot of protein because of tofu. You can add more vegetable to it so that it can be a fiber-rich protein option for you. So yes, tofu scramble is something that you can go for as a breakfast option. Second is sprouts, always my favorite. Just soak them well in advance the day prior, so that the next day you can just saute them, add good amount of salads like some cucumbers, some tomatoes and some onions, and then enjoy it. Or you can just have them blend it into dosas and make dosas out of it, idlis if you have time, whatever. But sprout is a good option to gather your protein, and very quick if you want to make some easy peasy breakfast option. Next is moong dal chila. Now moong dal itself is not a good, like, just enough source of protein. You will definitely have to add either paneer or tofu to it. So yes, make sure just not having chila, you add a good amount of paneer and tofu to it, so that it becomes high protein option, and you get good amount of protein with this breakfast option. We all have been having moong dal chila for so long, but yes, make sure that you have adequate amount of paneer or tofu inside it, or you can add soy chunks, blend it together. Make sure that you have a protein source along with moong dal to get good amount of protein from this meal as well. Next is a millet sandwich. Now some people would be like, we don't have time to have millet sandwich. That's completely okay. You can definitely have your regular multigrain bread sandwich. Just add a good protein source. As I mentioned again, you can boil your chickpeas, add it to it, some vegetables, and then make a sandwich out of it. Or when I say millet sandwich, you can simply soak some millets, blend it, and then make a batter out of it, and then you just add a little bit of vegetables and then press it in a sandwich maker, and you will get an amazing tasty millet sandwich. You will never miss your bread again, because your millets will act as a great whole grain to it. The vegetables and the protein should be there inside that sandwich, so that you get a balanced meal for the day. Next up, we have apple cinnamon oats. Now again, instead of just having oats and apple, we have to add fiber to it, so that we can give this a good shield and start our breakfast right. So adding rolled oats to any of your almond milk or soy milk, boil it together, add some apples, then some cinnamon on top. Make sure that you top it with a lot of fiber that comes from chia seeds. That is something soaked one day prior. Very easy and very quick to make, but definitely gives you one of the best breakfast ahead. Second is the quinoa salad. Again, it's very simple and easy to make. We're adding a lot of vegetables into it, so that the lot of fiber that we get from this particular recipe does not spike up our blood sugar levels. Lot of cucumbers, tomatoes, some paneer or tofu for protein, some soaked quinoa. We'll add some dressing to it. Next up is the last recipe and very quick one. We have some oat milk, some dates, some peanut butter, some oats, some banana, and some Greek yogurt. You can simply avoid dates as well. I just get my sugar from the peanut butter itself, blend it together. Quick way to gather your protein, and also gives you ample amount of energy. So yes, that's it for today's video. I hope you will find it useful. Tune in tomorrow at 7 o'clock again for a new day and new learning experience. I hope you get some great insight and make it easier for you to execute in your life as well. And yes, make sure that you also comment below if you have any questions, or reach out to us on the email ID given here. If you have any questions and want to subscribe to our newsletter and be a part of this amazing community that we are building together, then again, you can reach out to us here. So yes, stay tuned tomorrow, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon along to never miss any updates. Bye bye, stay fit, stay happy.